It's quite possible to float into the fifth dimension and then fall back into the third dimension, intentionally. Again, again, again. I'm sure you've heard about 3D and 5D worlds. Dimensions, levels, worlds, whatever you prefer to call them. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Everyone is embracing spirituality. The world is now recognizing that we live in a three-dimensional reality, with time being linear here. Generation Z is awakening with the help of TikTok and Snapchat. Millennials and boomers seem to be learning more through Facebook. No matter which platform we use, we all seem to be receiving messages scattered from the universe, in the form of content creators. However, there are other dimensions. Fortunately, we now have scientific evidence to recognize that other dimensions, as well as other life forms outside of Earth, exist. There is a massive shift in the world right now, and it seems that the spiritual realm is helping us to ascend higher into the fifth dimension, as a collective. I hope that you too can ascend in this lifetime. The spiritual dimensions of reality may look like the dimensions defined by physics, but we quickly realize that there is more to them. The two most common dimensions of reality that people on Earth know and experience are related to the waking state of consciousness and the dream state of consciousness. Waking experiences take place mainly in the reality of the third dimension, while what we remember from our dreams comes mainly from the fourth dimension. There are, however, many other dimensions of reality, and this can be experienced through meditation, hypnosis, lucid dreaming, projection of consciousness, medication, entheogens, and many other modalities. The soul or central consciousness of a human being, or of any other being or entity, is present in all dimensions at the same time. There are those who claim that it is a spark in essence identical to the source, to divinity, only on a smaller scale, and that it exists before or beyond any manifestation based on form. She would also be our guardian angel, who would be nothing more than ourselves realized in our purest form, which already exists, which has existed since the beginning of creation, but of which we are unaware. For earthly humans, their physical body and their awakened consciousness are the focal point in the third dimension. There's a lot of content around this concept, so if you're new to the world of spirituality and the new Earth, welcome. Here, I'll talk about practical steps that will take you closer to 3D and things that will take you higher to 5D. It's very important to master the maneuver between the third, fourth, and fifth dimensions. There is a time and a place for everything. You can't stay in the fifth dimension and do the things you need to do in the physical world. You'll want to stay in 5D. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, and you have access to unlimited knowledge. But the 5D and 3D worlds don't belong together. To achieve anything in the human world, you must drop back into 3D. Preferably, you can float back down, but sometimes you have to fall hard and fast. According to some alternative doctrines of a pseudo-scientific nature, human beings can go beyond their physical existence and grasp other realities, including their own. In this context, it is claimed that it is possible to access new spiritual spheres. In other words, our inner being is capable of perceiving hidden and invisible realities, each of which can form a specific dimension. The third dimension corresponds to the material world, and the fourth incorporates the spiritual part of the human soul. When we are at the third level of I consciousness, we understand the world and ourselves from three references: height, width, and depth. This means that we value everything we can touch, see, and experience. In other words, this is a primary plane of consciousness, which focuses on the physical world. Here, our experiences are shaped by strict physical laws, such as gravity and time, which we perceive as linear. In other words, a constant flow of past, present, and future. In the 3D reality, Our lives are largely dominated by emotional and mental states that reflect dualities, such as joy and sadness, love and fear. These dualities are experienced by everyone and serve as essential lessons that help us grow and evolve spiritually. However, for the chosen ones, 3D reality also serves as a testing ground for their resilience and ability to maintain a connection with the divine while facing the challenges of the material world. In addition, the 3D reality is the place where the more practical aspects of our existence take place. Work, relationships, and everyday challenges. This is where the chosen ones play a fundamental role, acting as bridges between the divine and the mundane. They use their experiences in 3D to teach and guide others, using their own journeys as examples of how to transcend the physical and emotional limitations imposed by this dimension. Everything, however, is seen as a separate thing, space, and a separate event, time. Due to the laws at play in the third dimension, there is very little awareness of the connectedness and uniqueness of things, actions, and events. Becoming aware of the unity and non-duality of all is an important lesson to be learned in the third dimension. Past, present, and future are seen as separate, creating the experience of linear time. This allows for comparisons and judgments, which lead to desires, goals, hopes, worries, fears, and all emotions, from joy and happiness to anxiety and suffering. Some channeled beings say that our Earth is one of the least flexible, lowest level, three-dimensional worlds in the universe, which results in stronger polarities and emotions than in many other places. This can produce conflicts and wars, as well as beautiful results in the arts and spirituality. It's no coincidence that Earth is a very special place in the universe, and the beings who have experienced existences on our Earth are among the most respected in all spiritual dimensions. Although not everyone agrees with this idea, many say that being born on our three-dimensional Earth is highly desired by beings from other dimensions, as it offers many opportunities for learning, knowledge, and personal and spiritual progress. Apparently, there is a long queue of beings waiting for an opportunity to have an incarnation on Earth. It is also said that the Earth provides other beings with the opportunity to disconnect from the complexities of the universe, isolate themselves, live in their own little world. This is because multidimensional existence is largely unknown on Earth, although it is an integral part of all the higher dimensions. On the other hand, others say that due to its intense polarity, our Earth is one of the most dangerous places in the universe. On the other hand, there are other parallel versions of Earth that are more flexible and lighter in density, and are therefore present in higher densities than the third dimension. Some say that there are also low-density parallel Earths, although this is not a very common perspective. The forms of communication that we are aware of using in the third dimension are spoken and written words and languages. By comparison, telepathy is used by most other complex beings in the universe. We even use many other forms of communication, including telepathy, but we are not aware of them. The fourth dimension is a place that offers great flexibility to create new realities and experiences, but still presents a sense of physicality, time, and a strong individualized ego, especially at the lower levels of this dimension. In dreams, for example, space, time, and objects exist, but they are less fixed and can, to a certain extent, be created or manipulated at will. However, fear and anxiety are also present, so much so that the lower fourth dimension is probably the source of our religious images of hell or the threshold. Time and space become increasingly flexible in the upper parts of the fourth dimension and in the higher dimensions. For humans who are mainly focused on the third dimension, they know their fourth dimensional self through their subconscious. They can interact with the fourth dimension through dreams, intuition, imagination, meditation, psychic abilities, magic, creativity, lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences, past life regressions, automatic writing experiences, channeling higher selves and other beings, and communicating and contacting ETs. The fourth dimension is extremely diverse, not least because it is where various forms of thought manifest. And thought forms, as their name suggests, require only thought to be created. Entire universes can and are created simply by thinking they exist. Various versions of the Earth in the past, and parallel and future versions of ourselves, can be seen and visited in this dimension. According to some psychics and researchers, extraterrestrial races can communicate and travel through the universe using fourth-dimensional properties, abilities, and technologies. For humans on Earth, the astral body is our four-dimensional self. Some say that this body is slightly larger than the physical body, extending 5 to 15 centimeters from the skin. Some say that the fourth dimension would be time and the fifth the astral, but here we are talking about spiritual dimensions, and time is still present in the fourth dimension. It just acts and moves differently from what we are used to perceiving in the third. The fifth dimension is the realm of higher-level thought forms. It houses the best and highest ideals of the fourth dimension and contains the highest versions of fourth-dimensional beings. The higher self, angels, beneficent extraterrestrials, ascended masters, and other spiritual guides for third-dimensional humans come mainly from the fifth dimension onwards. Most beings in the fifth dimension don't have physical bodies. They only have emotional, astral, and mental energy bodies, which they can densify when they wish to manifest in the physical. Thoughts, universes, and alternative selves materialize instantaneously in the fifth dimension, much more than in the fourth dimension, although less than in the higher dimensions. When in the fifth dimension, time travel would be easy, as the concept of past, present, and future is fragile. This also means that desires and fears are much less pronounced, especially in the higher levels of this dimension. On the higher levels of the fifth dimension, our individual personal timelines, past, present, and future, and our different reincarnations are all experienced simultaneously. Because of this, our present and future selves can interact with each other and learn from each other. The symptoms of the 3D world can be described as the tangible, everyday manifestations that anchor us firmly in three-dimensional reality. Among them, negative emotions, fear, and doubt are clear signs that we are operating within the limitations of this dimension. These experiences are not just part of the human spectrum of feelings. They serve as indicators that our consciousness is temporarily distanced from higher states of perception and existence. In the 3D world, we face a range of negative emotions, such as sadness, anger, frustration, and hopelessness. These emotions arise as responses to challenges, obstacles, or losses, and are natural reactions to the circumstances we experience. For the chosen ones, understanding and transforming these emotions is part of their spiritual journey. They learn not to suppress or ignore these emotions, but to observe them, understand them, and transmute them into something more constructive or elevated. Fear is another common feature of the 3D reality, manifesting itself in worries about safety, anxiety about the future, or fear of the unknown. It acts as a barrier that can prevent spiritual progression if it is not properly addressed and overcome. For the chosen ones, fear is a constant challenge that tests their faith and their ability to trust in divine guidance. Overcoming fear is a crucial step towards accessing higher levels of consciousness. Doubt often accompanies fear, manifesting as uncertainty about one's own worth, questioning spiritual beliefs, or hesitation in making important decisions. In the 3D reality, doubt can be debilitating and paralyzing. However, it also serves as an impetus for introspection and personal growth. Those chosen are encouraged to face their doubts, using them as tools to strengthen their faith and clarify their mission. Experiencing conflict with someone is a clear indication of being rooted in the 3D reality, where duality and competition often govern human interactions. These conflicts can arise from misunderstandings, differences of opinion, or competitions for resources and recognition, reflecting a disconnection with the deeper unity and understanding found in higher dimensions. When the world appears clear, sharp, and focused, using primarily the 5 physical senses for navigation, this suggests a strong presence in 3D reality. This direct sensory perception is typical of our interaction with the material world, where we rely on our senses to form our understanding and reaction to the environment. Feeling or witnessing manifestations of the 7 deadly sins, such as jealousy or greed, is also a symptom of 3D reality. These emotions arise from a feeling of separation and insufficiency, characteristics that contrast with the experience of abundance and connection perceived in higher dimensions. Experiencing a disconnection from the spiritual world is another sign of being deeply immersed in the 3D reality. This disconnection can manifest as a feeling of isolation, lack of purpose, or difficulty in perceiving or trusting intuitions and spiritual guidance that are more accessible in higher states of consciousness. The me versus them mentality is a particularly strong symptom of 3D, where separation and individualism are emphasized. In higher dimensions, such as 4D and 5D, an awareness of interconnectedness and harmony prevails, highlighting the lack of this perception in denser states. Finally, a lack of creativity can be a sign that you are stuck in 3D reality. Creativity flows freely in higher dimensions, where the limitations and fears of the physical world do not restrict individual expression. A sense of stagnation and difficulty in imagining or creating new ideas can indicate a strong anchoring in the limitations of the 3rd dimension. Intentionally returning to 3D reality may be necessary in a number of circumstances, especially when we need to deal with practical issues or solve problems that require a stronger connection with the physical world. Here are some effective ways to realign with the 3rd dimension. First, focus on grounding yourself. Feel your feet on the ground. Pay attention to tactile sensations and the perceptions of your senses. Concentrate on the details of the environment, what you see, smell, and hear. This direct sensory connection helps anchor your consciousness in physical reality, bringing your soul firmly and safely back into the 3rd dimension. Secondly, allow yourself to experience negative emotions such as jealousy, fear, stress, and anxiety. Although it may seem counterintuitive and uncomfortable, embracing these emotions can speed up the process of returning to 3D. These emotions are an integral part of the human experience in this dimension, and facing them can serve as a call to reality that reinforces your presence in the material world. Thirdly, temporarily stop consciousness-raising practices such as meditation. Although meditation is a powerful tool for accessing heightened states of consciousness, pausing it can help recalibrate your attention to the demands and rhythms of everyday life in 3D. Finally, interact and connect with other people who are predominantly in the 3rd dimension. Contact with individuals who live firmly in the 3D reality can help pull your own energy into this state. These interactions can be especially useful when you need to engage in mundane activities or resolve practical issues that require a more concrete and material approach. Indicators that you are in the 5th dimension, or 5D, reflect a profound change in the perception and experience of reality. Here are the detailed symptoms that can suggest your presence in this heightened state of consciousness. First, you may notice a diffuse quality in the air, as if your surroundings were slightly distorted or wavy. This can be accompanied by the perception of floating lines, waves, or colors, creating an almost ethereal sensation or feeling of being in an altered state of consciousness, similar to the lightness of being stoned, but in a deeply spiritual and clear way. Secondly, the ability to connect the dots between concepts, ideas, or phenomena intuitively and quickly is a strong indicator of being in 5D. This state of almost instantaneous understanding can make you feel like a mad genius, able to see connections and patterns that others may not easily perceive. Thirdly, in the 5th dimension, negative emotions are almost non-existent. Instead, you experience a continuous flow of neutral or positive emotions, maintaining a state of serenity and well-being, regardless of external circumstances. Fourthly, the lack of understanding of behaviors that reflect the 7 deadly sins becomes evident. In 5D, concepts such as jealousy and greed seem obsolete and irrelevant. There is a deep understanding of interconnectedness and generosity, leading to a natural willingness to share and live in harmony. Fifthly, communication with the spiritual world intensifies. You may find that you communicate easily with spirits and entities, even if you don't physically see them. This communication can occur through clear intuitions, messages in dreams, or unexplained physical sensations. Finally, in the 5th dimension, sensory experiences are intensified and at the same time softened. Food can taste richer, pleasures are amplified, and social interactions occur with a profound fluidity and understanding. The 5 senses are simultaneously dulled and sharpened, providing a sensory experience that transcends the 3-dimensional norm. These indicators are testimony to a heightened existence in the 5D, where perception and reality are transformed, offering a deeply enriched and connected vision and experience. Ascending to the 5th dimension, or 5D, involves a series of practices and mindset shifts that facilitate the elevation of your consciousness to a higher state of perception and experience. Here are detailed strategies to help with this transition. Meditation is fundamental. Dedicate time to meditation every day, as it helps to calm the mind, clear your thoughts, and connect with higher energies. Meditation serves as a direct bridge to 5D, allowing you to reach higher and more sustainable states of consciousness. Incorporate breathing practices, yoga, and mindfulness into your routine. These activities help harmonize the body, mind, and spirit, promoting a state of well-being and alignment that is essential for ascending to 5D. They also help maintain a high vibrational frequency, which is compatible with the 5th dimension. Avoid and transmute negative emotions. The presence of negative thoughts or feelings can pull you back into 3D. When these emotions arise, recognize them and consciously transform them into positive thoughts or lessons for growth. This transmutation practice helps keep your energy aligned with 5D. Temporarily distance yourself from people who are vibrating at lower frequencies, including on social media. This separation doesn't have to be permanent, but it can be crucial to avoid influences that could divert your trajectory or lower your vibrational frequency while you are committed to staying in 5D. Maintain a spiritual practice of prayer or communication with your spirit guides. Asking your guides for guidance, protection, and clarity can strengthen your connection with the divine and facilitate your journey of ascension to 5D by providing support and confirmation of your experiences and intuitions. By awakening the inner child and allowing it to play with the wonderful perceptions of the 5th dimension, you, as one of the chosen ones, open doors to a limitless reality that you can shape. Imagine yourself strolling through an enchanted forest, watching the spirits of nature dancing above you. Visualize yourself sipping tea in a tranquil stream and swimming gently through the clear waters of a cave alongside a manatee. These visions are more than mere fantasies. They are manifestations of your heightened being in 5D. When you pull the light down, you glimpse the portal between water and sky. The vibrant colors of this new reality open your heart and heal the wounds of loneliness and sadness you were carrying. Flying through these colors in your body of light, you merge completely with each moment, experiencing the fullness of existence. Remember the innocence of your childhood, no matter how brief it was, to regain the ability to understand that your imagination is real. Imagination is a higher dimensional thought, essential for fully accepting life in 5D. Believe in yourself, trust your expanding perceptions, and allow your inner voice to overcome fear and insecurity. Eliminate any doubt or skepticism, as these feelings act as anchors that hold you to 3D reality. By freeing yourself from these blocks, you allow your consciousness to expand freely into 5D, where perception is unlimited and reality is shaped by consciousness, not materiality. Imagine that you are putting on 3D glasses to enter a movie theater. Put on the filter of your imagination to allow the 5th dimension to manifest around you. Look to the right. What does your imagination reveal about your reality in 5D? Feel the freedom and joy of this perception, and allow your inner child to explore this new adventure. Look to the left. Let a previously unimaginable 5th dimensional thought flow into your consciousness. Accept this idea into your heart and hold it in your mind. Turn around and look at all the aspects of your 3-dimensional reality that you are ready to release. Give thanks for the lessons learned, while blessing and saying goodbye to these elements. Now, with the main focus on your new 5D reality, look ahead to see your path clearly before you. What does this path look like? Where is it taking you? See yourself walking it with peace, calm, trust, and unconditional love. As your environment begins to vibrate with the energy of the 5th dimension, notice what has changed and what has remained the same. Reflect on how you have changed and what in you remains the same. As you go about your day, focus on the parts of your ego and your life that are already aligned with the 5th dimension. Whenever you remember, see your entire existence through the perceptions of your multidimensional being, allowing you to consciously experience the merging of the 3rd and 5th dimensional realities. To exist in the 5th dimension, remember to raise your consciousness and open yourself up to new beliefs that will shape your expectations and define your perceptions. The reality you perceive is the reality you live. Perceive change in order to be the change you want to create. You are the light of the world, the multi-dimensional light of all realities. If this message resonates with you, remember to express your support by liking and subscribing to the channel. I look forward to continuing to share this spiritual journey with you. Our next meeting promises to be inspiring and transformative, and I can't wait for us to reconnect soon. This is a time to celebrate and anticipate the blessings that are yet to come.